Alright guys, so we are gonna continue on doing the We Deleted You, the Animatic, the full series. So last time we were at 50 minutes, I think. Yeah, 50 minutes. And so yeah, let's continue. We gotta continue. Alright. So yeah, I think I do like oh yeah, definitely we're gonna stop until 9, like totally taking all of that minutes. I'm totally, you guys should go check out the first part. If you don't know what's gonna happen. And continuing on, so let's put on our little captions. And let's get started with this video. Alright.
Let's see what the little guy's name is, Will said as he pointed the Wii remote to Edeled and clicked on him. The speech bubble containing Edeled's name appeared over his head, and Will analyzed the name. That's backwards for delete, Will
It is
said.
backwards for delete.
Is it? I asked. Yeah, stupid, you really didn't notice that? Wow, you're stupider than I thought, Will angrily said. But because his name is backwards for delete, let's delete him, Will joyfully announced as he picked up Edeled and dragged him to the delete icon.
I know something bad's gonna happen.
I jumped.
Here's one thing you need to do before you buy anything online.
ads.
Don't spend another dime on Amazon until you watch.
Totally.
I asked. Yeah, stupid, you really didn't notice that? Wow, you're stupider than I thought, Will angrily said. But because his name is backwards for delete, let's delete him, Will joyfully announced as he picked up Edeled and dragged him to the delete icon. Something bad's
gonna happen.
I jumped up and tried to pull the Wii remote out of his hands, but Will was stronger than me and he was slowly able to get him to the delete icon.
Shouldn't do that.
The text box then appeared asking if we wanted to delete the me. Will started to inch his way to the yes button, while I tried to inch my way to the no button. Will was able to get to the yes button and he pressed A. And then, the me deletion sound played. Will had a smirk on his face while I was making an expression of pure worry. Edeled was being sent to that place that he told me about. I couldn't imagine the pain that he's going through. I laid on my bed as Will walked towards my window. See you later, Sam the psychopath, Will yelled as he was getting ready to jump out of my window. But then, we heard a voice.
You just made the biggest mistake of your life.
The voice sounded like Edeled.
Yep.
So I sprang out of my bed to find him back in the me channel. And this time, he was standing next to another me, which looked exactly like Will. Will then turned around to face the TV.
This is you, right, Will?
Will was in a state of shock, and his me looked worried, as if something terrible was about to happen. Will slowly walked to the back of my room.
Why are you so frightened, Will? Are you scared, just like your me?
Will didn't answer.
Well, one thing's for sure. You've brought this on yourself, Will. I'll be right back.
Edeled announced as he walked off screen. A few seconds later, he came back with an axe. He kicked Will's me over and put his foot on him. Edeled, stop! What are you doing? I yelled as Edeled raised the axe.
Shut up! I've taught someone not to delete me this way before, and I'm not afraid to do it again!
Will just stood there, unable to move, speak, or do anything because of the fear. I ran to turn off the Wii, but I tripped on my bed leg, and I fell to the ground. I looked up at the TV.
I went through the pain of being deleted. And now it's time for you and me to suffer! Say goodbye, you heartless...
I turned off the TV before Edeled could finish his sentence.
If it said that,
I got up and turned to Will.
Definitely gonna...
You need to leave, I said quietly.
If I notice enemy.
Will ran to my window and jumped out. He ran off. I closed my window and sat on my bed. I stared at the Wii for minutes on end with questions filling my mind. Why did this happen? Why did Edeled do this? What was the result going to be? What was the resolution intended to be? But this question filled up my mind the most. Why did I get this Wii? It's been about 1 day after Edeled tried to kill Will's me. I don't fully understand yet, but I don't want to return it back to the thrift store because I feel that maybe Edeled and I could talk it out. I went to school in silence, and I even saw Will, but he just looked at me and looked away. It was obvious that he was just as shaken up as I was. We got to our homeroom and Mr. Brenner walked in.
Alright class, I hope you all studied. Today is the Chapter 4 science test.
Mr. Brenner called out, "The science Chapter 4 test? I didn't study. In fact, I forgot about it all weekend. And if all the events that happened yesterday didn't take place, I probably would have remembered it and studied for a while." And to make matters worse, Mr. Brenner's tests can be hard. It asks you for exact details and everything that was in the study guide. As Mr. Brenner handed out the tests, I slouched back at my desk, knowing that I would fail. And then he came to my desk.
Sam, did you study?
I replied with a faint no.
Well, today I'll give you an adapted version, just this once. Make sure you study next time.
There's 1 or 2 kids in my class who have some minor learning difficulties, so every time we have a test, Mr. Brenner makes some adapted versions for them. And the only reason he's giving me an adapted version is because my grades have been slipping a bit. The test was still a little tricky, but I think I've done much better than I would have done on a regular version. The day went by normally after that. I saw Will a couple times, and we even made eye contact, but we didn't say a word to each other. When I got home, I sat in front of my Wii. Should I talk to Edeled? Should I throw out this Wii? Those questions are still filling my mind. No, he has a soul. He is living, I said to myself. I decided to just talk it out with Edeled. I turned on my Wii and grabbed the Wii remote. I got to the Me channel and saw Edeled just standing there. Edeled, can I talk to you about something? I asked.
What is it?
Why did you get so mad? Sure, you don't like being deleted, but why did you react that way?
Because that's the only way I can react. I previously lived a real life, but my childhood was full of abuse and violence.
I took a few seconds before responding. Edeled lived an actual life before? He was a human being at one time? I asked him to be more specific, but I didn't want to force anything out of him.
All I can say is that my childhood was very rough. I was bullied, I was abused, and I was different.
How was he different? Who abused him? Why was his life so traumatic to him? I'm sorry about what happened to you, Edeled. I hope you're feeling okay now, I said.
I feel okay mentally, but not physically.
There was a long pause.
Growing up as a person, I was punished for not being normal. My father was mean, while my mother was nice.
I didn't even ask him anything, but what I heard shocked me. Edeled previously lived a real life, but not a good one. His father was mean, but his mother was nice. Was Edeled a victim of child abuse?
My mother always loved me, but she was always sad.
At this point, I felt really bad for Edeled, not only in his past life, but his life right now. He said earlier, he feels okay mentally, but not physically. I'm really sorry about your past life, Edeled. I wish there was a way I could help, I said as I looked down.
It was not a past life. I'm still who I was before.
I looked up at the TV, confused.
I worked for the company who made the Wii, Nintendo. I died, but I still lived on in this Wii.
I stood up. Edeled is an actual person whose spirit possesses this Wii? It didn't make any sense. I didn't understand. I didn't want to ask any more questions, so I decided to exit the Me channel. I got back to the Wii menu and noticed I received a new message on the Wii message board. I went there and found an envelope. I clicked on it, and the letter read this.
Sam, I trust you, okay? You're the first person I was ever able to trust in a long time. But please, don't let anyone delete me. You do not know how painful it is. And when I get deleted, I get violent. Sincerely, Edeled.
I put the Wii remote down. I sat on my bed and didn't do anything. This was so much to take in. Edeled was human? It didn't make any sense. I decided to get something to drink. I left my room and walked to my kitchen. I swung open the fridge and grabbed a Pepsi. I opened it as I walked back to my room. I'll just play some Wii Sports with Edeled, I thought. Maybe some tennis will get him into better mood, I said to myself. Tennis is my second favorite sport of all time, and since that was on Wii Sports, I decided to play it. I opened up Wii Sports and clicked on tennis. I chose to play as Edeled and the game started. I flung my Wii remote upward and swung it, hitting the ball. Edeled was very powerful. I didn't even use that much effort in my swing, but Edeled hit the ball so hard that it sped toward the other team, and the other team was able to hit it back normally. In fact, the entire game worked normally. But every time I served, Edeled would hit the ball so hard that the ball went as fast as the game allowed it to, even when I didn't put any effort into my swing. I won that tennis match and decided to play some baseball. I started it up and the game began. Edeled was the first who was up to bat. The pitcher threw the ball and I hit it. Edeled hit the ball hard, and it went flying into the pitcher's face. From what I could guess, the game's programming thought that the pitcher caught it, thus it was out. And because of this, another me was supposed to be the batter this time, but Edeled was there again, ready to swing the bat and get a home run. I decided to try again. The pitcher threw the ball, and I swung the Wii remote. The ball went flying out of the stadium. Thus, it was out of the park. Edeled ran to each base, and when he passed all of them, our team got a point. I was starting to get bored after a while. Edeled would keep getting home run after home run. It wasn't fun. There was no challenge, so I quit the game. I decided to play bowling next. Bowling was another favorite sport of mine, and I liked to go to the local bowling alley with a few friends that I had. But this was when things got out of hand. I chose Edeled as my player, and on the first 3 throws, I got strikes. I was a relatively good bowler, so I didn't think it was too weird. But the next 3 throws after that were strikes too. Maybe Edeled is better at bowling than me, I said with a slight chuckle. I held the Wii remote behind me and pressed and held the B button, and swung forward. Edeled didn't move. I tried again, and he still didn't move. I noticed that Edeled was looking the other way. He seemed to be watching a CPU me playing on the lane next to him.
Kyle.
Edeled said quietly. Kyle? Was this the same Kyle that Edeled told me about? Before I could do anything, Edeled slowly raised the bowling ball over his head, and he threw it towards Kyle's head. Kyle was knocked out. He fell as a massive red mark was made visible where the bowling ball hit his head. The game seemed to detect this as a strike.
What?
Because the strike splash screen came up.
What?
And then the replay
What?
triggered. But in the replay, the pins didn't fall down. All you could hear was the screams and gasps of all the other Miis in the bowling alley. When the replay was finished, the camera cut back to Edeled, who had his back facing the camera. He was looking at all the other Miis staring at him. They all had shocked expressions.
Damn it.
Edeled said quietly as he ran off to the exit. The camera was following Edeled the entire time. As Edeled burst out the door, I noticed that all the area surrounding the bowling alley was just pitch black. I saw Edeled forming a brick path to walk on. He walked for a while in this blank space. I saw nothing but him and the path, and then the camera started to jitter a bit.
Sam, if the camera is jittering, it's because of the game's programming. The camera is not supposed to be here, so the game was trying to take it back to the bowling alley.
And you're not letting it? I asked.
Yes.
Edeled responded. Edeled, what happened back there? I asked. Edeled then stopped. He sat on the ground and faced me.
Sam, remember how I told you about Kyle? Well, that was his me. I honestly have no idea why he came back. I deleted him 10 years ago.
What? I thought deleting a me causes them pain. Why are you causing other me's pain if you don't want pain? I yelled.
I deleted him because he deleted me. I was never good at resolving situations in a lighthearted manner. He caused me pain, so I had to cause him pain. I'm sorry.
Well, where do the me's even go when they get deleted? I asked. Edeled sighed.
Are you sure you want to know?
Yes, I replied.
Okay then, but you need to delete me first. Once you're done with that, go to the Wii message board. You will see a blank envelope. Click it and then click on the video.
Edeled instructed. I went to the Me channel after that, and I deleted him. But before I confirmed that I wanted to delete him, I spoke out. I'm sorry, I said.
It's fine, Sam. You want to know after all.
I took a deep breath as I inched the cursor over to the yes button. And then, I pressed A.
Why is there more tanks? Hold on, guys. No, hold on. Hold on.
I exited to the Wii menu after I deleted Edeled. While Edeled was willing to show me what happens when Miis get deleted, I still felt guilty. I hoped he wasn't going through too much pain. I went to the Wii message board and waited for the blank envelope to arrive. It popped up, and I pointed my Wii remote at it and pressed A. A box with a play icon appeared. Edeled told me to play the video, so I did. The video started, and all I saw was static. The static was on the screen for 30 seconds until it cut to a hallway. In the hallway were hospital beds lined up next to each other. There were Miis laying on most of the beds, with some of the beds being empty, and the Miis were connected to life support machines. The Miis were all pale. Some were silent, while some were crying for help. As the camera moved slowly across the hallway, I saw Miis flatlining. Nearly all of them were flatlining. I was speechless at this point. The camera then cut to Edeled, laying on one of the beds. He was hooked up to life support machines, with wires all over his arms, legs, and forehead.
Sam,
Edeled said in a weak voice.
I'm not upset with you. I understand that you want to know what happens to a me when it gets deleted. But please, never do this again. The pain gets worse every time I get deleted. I'll meet you in the Me channel.
Edeled got up slowly. He ripped off all the wires that were attached to him. He began to glow blue, and slowly disintegrated. It was around this time that the TV turned black, and I heard a faint voice in the background.
I didn't expect Adelaide to be here.
Who was that? I asked frightfully.
Spoiler alert, it's Austin.
The voice was different than Adelaide. The pitch kept on going up and down, and overall it sounded like it was corrupted. The video then stopped, and it took me back to the Wii message board. With no time to waste, I went back to the Me channel. I saw Adelaide, but he was just sitting down, with his hands on his eyes, like he was crying. Adelaide, I'm sorry. I apologized.
It's fine. Just please don't do it again.
I don't really understand still. If it's okay, could you explain more about your backstory? I asked politely. Adelaide looked at me.
Alright. I was employed at Nintendo on December 8th, 1998, when I was 22.
Adelaide explained.
I died on November 18th, 2006, the day before the Wii's launch, and one day short of my 30th birthday.
I started to feel bad for Adelaide. I'm so sorry, Adelaide, I said quietly.
It's not your fault. Besides, I'd rather live in the Wii rather than live the way I was before. I died while making this me. I went into a back office with the Wii, and I wanted to make myself as I wanted to look like if I was a me.
You wanted to look like this? Why? I asked.
It's just the way I like it. Anyway, I was electrocuted, and I died. A few moments later, I was reborn as the me I made moments earlier.
So your spirit is in this Wii? I asked.
Yes. Anyway, after a few days of living in the Me channel, I saw the delete icon. I was curious, and I deleted myself.
I bet you didn't know what
Curious, and I deleted myself.
I bet you didn't know what was going to come, I said.
No, I didn't. It was the biggest mistake I've ever made. Anyway, I was in the hallway, but this time it was empty. The pain was intense, but I managed to walk. I cried for help. I sat there until
Adelaide stopped.
I saw a portal appear in front of me. I went through it and I was taken to what I think was an earlier version of the hallway.
Earlier version? I think I was starting to understand. I just needed a bit more information. What was the earlier version like? I asked.
I can't say it, but I'll tell you this. I was shocked, both mentally and physically.
Adelaide explained. How was he shocked? Sure, I can understand what he meant by mentally, but physically? What did that mean? Sam, I'm home. My mother called out as she came in from work. Sorry, Adelaide, I gotta go, I said as I turned off the Wii. My mother walked into my room. Sam, who are you talking to? She asked. No one, I quickly replied. She looked skeptical. Alright, well, I'm going to make dinner. It should be ready in an hour or so, she announced as she walked to the kitchen. I closed the door. I sat on my bed as I wondered what to do next. I decided to go on my laptop. I haven't been on it for a while. I turned it on, put my password in, and got in. I received a notification on Skype. Someone was trying to call me. The name of the person who was trying to call me was Kyle Sander. Was this the same Kyle? The Kyle who previously owned this Wii? It couldn't be. The likelihood of this being the same Kyle is extremely low. Besides, my mom was cooking dinner, and she doesn't like me talking to random people online. I decided to just ignore the call and play some games on my laptop. About an hour and a half later, it was time to eat dinner. We had fish, my most hated food. I didn't complain or anything, but I just ate it slowly. I just looked at the fish on my plate while I chewed the fish that was in my mouth. It was disgusting to me. After my mother went to bed about 2 hours after dinner, I got another Skype call from Kyle.
Another
Because my
Skype
mother was in
call.
bed, I answered. "Who is this?" I asked. "Alright, listen to me very carefully. We don't have much time," Kyle said in a hurry. "Well, can I at least know who you are?" I asked again. "My name is Kyle Sander, and I believe that you own a Nintendo Wii that was previously mine." My eyes widened. This was the same Kyle? How? How did he know that I owned the Wii? "Okay, what do you want to know?" I asked. "Alright, do you live in the Toronto area?" "Yes." "Okay, and did you buy a Nintendo Wii from the Value Village in Leslieville?" I said yes, and then he started to tell me about his experiences with Edeled. Apparently, from what he told me, his father, Jonathan, used to work for Nintendo. His family used to live in Redmond, Washington, where Nintendo of America's headquarters are.
What?
When Kyle turned
I'm making
7
the
on
video.
November 28th, 2006, he got a Nintendo Wii 9 days after it launched. He went into the Me channel and discovered a Me called Edeled. He deleted him because he thought he was freaky at the time. After being fed up with repeatedly being deleted by Kyle, Edeled then deleted Kyle's Me. After this, he tried to go back into the Me channel, but a text box would always appear saying, "We deleted you." He actually managed to get back into the Me channel when his friend came to visit him a week later, only for Edeled to brutally murder Kyle's Me with an axe. He never touched his Wii again after that. Shortly after that, Kyle's father, Jonathan, quit his job at Nintendo. So in 2007, Kyle's family moved to Leslieville, Toronto, where I live. He told me while he unpacked his boxes after the move, he found his Wii in one of them, and quickly put it in his closet and shut the door. He eventually bought a new Wii in 2010 with some allowance money, and then a Wii U in 2013. Later, he decided to put the Wii's SD card in his laptop in hopes to find out the origins of Edeled. He discovered a video file called deleted.mov. He proceeded to watch it to see the exact same hallway that I saw.
It's over there.
Kyle even saw Edeled, and he told him that this is where the Miis go when they get deleted, and violently told him to learn, or he would make him learn.
Yeah, take them now.
Then, in 2014, Kyle's father, Jonathan, finally told him about why he resigned from Nintendo. And when he told me why, my eyes widened in disbelief. Kyle's father resigned from Nintendo because an employee had died in a back room and his spirit went on to possess my Wii. More specifically,
it's 8:21. I'm gonna go
Edeled.
at your back.
He
9.
then told me that the employee's name was Henry.
Henry.
Oh my god, I said
Henry.
faintly. The reason I'm contacting you is to get the Wii destroyed, so Edeled cannot do any more harm. Wait, what? He's not doing any harm to me, I yelled. Well, has he done harm to anyone else? I didn't want to reply to that. There was a long pause. Sam, are you there? Kyle asked as he tried to get my attention. I sat there, trying to think of an excuse. I just know that if Kyle finds out what Edeled did to Will's Me, he'll surely have all intentions to destroy the Wii. You know what? I don't trust you, I yelled. What? Sam, I need you to tell me what Edeled did. Kyle instructed. No! Edeled isn't some cold-hearted murderer, I yelled again. Well, he chopped off my Mii's legs and head. He grew up in a bad environment! And how do you know? Edeled told me! We were silent for a long period of time. Sam, I just want to help you. You're not helping me. You just want to destroy a home of a man's spirit. More specifically, a man's spirit who just wants to send a message. Don't delete Mii's, I quietly concluded. I hung up the call and blocked Kyle from calling me again. It was nearly 10 o'clock, so I decided to go to sleep. I turned off my laptop, laid down on my bed, and closed my eyes.
Sick of all the ads like this one? Just head to adskiller.com, click on Activate Now, add AdsKiller to your browser. Confirm, done. No more ads, no more interruptions.
Oh, maybe I can use that so we don't have any eruptions with ads.
I heard the Wii turn on as the clicking noises in the fan started to go. I was just dozing off when this happened. I slowly opened my eyes and looked at the Wii. The light was green. It was on. It just turned on by itself.
Turns on.
I walked up to it and pressed the power button.
Just turned on by itself.
It turned off, with the light now
Weird.
red. But as I walked back to my bed, I heard it turn on again.
It turned on
Thus,
again.
I turned it off again. I just wanted to go to bed.
Turned on again.
It was just turned
and
on
it turned on again.
I figured I would unplug it. I leaned down towards the power cord of the Wii, but before I could take it out of the wall socket, I heard static noises coming from the TV.
The TV turned on by itself?
And then I saw that the TV was turned on.
How was all that turning on by itself?
I decided to sit down on my bed and find out what the hell was going on.
Ooh.
There was static on the screen, so I picked up the Wii remote, pointed it to the TV, and pressed the A button. Nothing happened. I didn't expect anything to happen though. The static still didn't go away. I just sat there for a few seconds, waiting for the static to clear up, if it was going to anyway. But then it did, and I was greeted to see Edeled in the Me channel.
Sam, I heard you talking to Kyle.
Edeled said. Edeled, I'm not gonna let him do anything to you, okay? I stated.
Well, good, because at the end of the day, he's the murderer.
Edeled responded. Edeled, how were you able to hear me? I questioned.
I can hear everything that happens outside the Wii, whether it's on or off.
So you can just hear everything whenever you want?
It's not whenever I want, I don't have a choice. I always hear everything that happens outside the Wii.
Edeled, I just want to go to bed.
Alright, all I'm saying is do not let Kyle do anything. Do you understand?
Yes, I replied. But before Edeled could reply, the screen cut to black. Edeled, what happened? I fretfully asked. No response. After waiting for about 10 seconds, I heard that same unknown voice I heard at the end of the hallway video.
I wish that
I missed the stuff I did.
Who are you? I yelled.
Postponed.
What do you mean? I demanded.
Electricity can cure things, especially with shocks to the head.
I didn't know what it was talking about. What shocks? I was once again confused and a little scared. What do you mean? I demanded one more time.
Henry
wasn't
become.
That was the last thing the voice said before both the TV and the Wii turned off. I just didn't want to think about it anymore. I just wanted to sleep. I laid in my bed and dozed off. I woke up the next morning, made my breakfast, got dressed, and went to school. I forgot about what happened last night until I remembered it on the way to school. I started to think to myself as I walked, whose voice was that? What did it mean by Henry wasn't the only person who became a me? I made it to school about 5 minutes late, because I was up so late last night. I walked into class, gave my late slip to Mr. Brenner, and then sat down.
Alright, class, I was just about to introduce our new student, Kyle Sander.
Mr. Brenner called out. My eyes suddenly sprung open as my tiredness disappeared. This is a dream, isn't it? There's no way Kyle goes to my school now. I tried pinching myself, but I didn't wake up. This wasn't a dream. Kyle got up from his desk and stood in front of the class. I looked at his appearance and, obviously, he went through some puberty. But I can still make some similarities from Kyle now to his me. Hello, my name is Kyle. I didn't move anywhere, I just moved schools because the one I was going to was pretty crappy, Kyle stated. Mr. Brenner likes to do this thing where whenever a new student joins our class, each student says their name and their favorite thing to do. Mr. Brenner started on the other side of the classroom to start introducing Kyle to everyone. I was on the other side, which meant I would be one of the last people to go. But before I knew it, it was my turn to introduce myself. I was silent for a couple seconds, thinking about what I was going to say. Hello, my name is Sam Coleman, and my favorite thing to do is play video games, I said. Kyle looked at me with a slightly surprised look. He obviously recognized my voice, and of course, I recognized his. Once everyone was done introducing themselves, Kyle sat down, and for the remainder of the class, he just looked at me. I couldn't blame him, really. He is shocked to know that I was the person who currently owned his old Wii. I would have done the same. After that class was over, it was time to go to our next class, which was math. As I walked, Kyle slowly walked beside me. Sam? Kyle asked. What is it? I quietly replied in a mad tone. I was still kind of upset with him from the call that we had last night, and his motives to destroy the Wii. You are the same Sam who I called last night, right? You know, about the Wii? Kyle asked. Yes, I responded. Okay, has anything else happened last night after that call? Kyle questioned. I stopped and turned around to face him. Why do you want to know? I asked seriously. Kyle was silent for a few seconds. I just want to take the Wii back, Kyle answered. To do what? What? I questioned again. And Kyle was silent again. Let me guess. You're just gonna destroy it. You even said in that call that you wanted to destroy it, I quietly said. I'm not letting you take it, I continued. In fact, how did that Wii even get into that Value Village? I asked again. My dad was looking for some stuff to donate and was looking to donate something of mine. I don't play my other Wii much anymore, and he assumed that the Wii that has Edoled on it was the Wii that I bought in 2010, Kyle explained. But he didn't check with me to confirm that the Wii was in fact the one from 2010, so he just guessed, and it turns out he took the wrong one, Kyle concluded. Then why did you even move to this school? I asked one more time. I switched schools because the previous one I went to was just crappy. I told one of my friends at the time about the whole Edoled story, and he obviously didn't believe me, Kyle explained. I honestly wasn't surprised, but I told that dolt not to tell anyone else, and after I told him, he proceeded to tell everyone else in my grade. Everyone in that school now thought that I was a con artist and a liar, Kyle continued. And eventually started getting cyberbullied, which just made it worse. And eventually it just got a bit too much, so I decided to switch schools, Kyle concluded. Was it really that bad? I asked. Yeah, it was, Kyle quietly responded. As the day went by, Kyle was asking me several questions about Edoled, like, what does Edoled think of you? How many times has he caused harm? Why is it that whenever he is deleted, he becomes extremely angry? But eventually, I just had enough of those questions. Sam, do you plan on giving away the Wii? How long do you plan to keep it? Kyle asked. I felt as if I was being interrogated, as if I was being suspected for a crime that I didn't commit. I turned around to face him. Will you stop? I yelled. Stop what? Kyle asked. Asking me all these questions. Are you literally trying to get me to give you the Wii? I just want to know what Edoled thinks of you, Kyle responded. Okay. I'm honestly confused here, I yelled. First, you tell me you want to destroy it, and then you tell me you just want to take the Wii back, and now you just want to know what Edoled thinks of me? Just get to the point, I concluded. Kyle was just silent. I was expecting another lame excuse, but I was surprisingly greeted with nothing. That's what I thought, I quietly said as I turned around and walked away. Eventually, the school day ended, and while I was walking home, I had a thought. What if I just let Kyle see Edeled? I wouldn't let him touch the Wii, nor have any object on him that could potentially destroy it. For example, if he threw something at it and it fell off the table. I would just let him see Edeled, maybe talk to him, and maybe it might give me some more details about Edeled and this whole ordeal. Pfft, no, why would I do that, let alone even think about it? I got home, went inside, shut the door, locked it, and headed straight to my room. I just sat there, on my laptop, just watching some YouTube videos, but the same thought I had earlier hit me again. For some reason, I believe that I can learn more about Edeled if I brought Kyle over. Kyle clearly has a longer history with Edeled than I do, so I decided to invite him over, just this once. I still had him blocked on Skype, but I unblocked him and called him. It rang a couple times, and then he picked up.
Does your sales process look good on a slide? But when it comes time to actually sell, your sales process breaks.
Zams. Already on Sam Story 5. What time is it?
Hello? Kyle said as the Skype call started. Immediately after Kyle spoke, thoughts started rushing through my head. More specifically, thoughts about the potential dangers of letting Kyle come over to talk to Edeled. I know that Kyle had every intent to destroy the Wii, and I still have every intention to stop him from doing that. But I also want to learn more about Edeled, and have a better understanding of him. Sam, are you there? Kyle asked. I didn't respond. Okay. I'll just hang up now. Kyle announced. This was when I finally spoke. I want you to come over, I said in a rush. There was a long pause. You want me to come over? Why exactly? I want you to talk to Edeled. I want to have a better understanding of him, and the way he reacts to situations and how he deals with it, I responded. Well, what does that have to do with me? Well, Edeled does hate you, right? And I want to know how he would react when he sees someone he hates after a long time, I explained. Well, sure, I guess. I could tell that with him agreeing this quickly, he's currently plotting something. He's planning to destroy the Wii the first chance he gets. I just know it. So, before he could say anything else, I began to explain the rules. Okay, but just so you know, you're not allowed to bring anything with you, I blurted out. Why? Because I will not allow you to destroy the Wii, I replied. After agreeing to some rules, I gave Kyle my address and he said he would be right there. I hung up. I got up from my bed and started organizing everything in my room. I was gonna have Kyle stand at the very back of my room while he talks to Edeled, and I moved any object that Kyle could potentially destroy the Wii with. Once that was done with, I waited for Kyle to come over. But then, after about 15 minutes, the Wii turned on. I walked up to my TV and turned it on, and saw Edeled standing in the Me channel.
Sam, why are you telling Kyle to come over?
Edeled asked. I just want you guys to talk, that's all, I explained. Edeled was very hesitant to talk to Kyle, but then I managed to convince him to talk to him.
Well, just make sure it doesn't destroy the Wii.
Don't worry, I won't let him, I promise, I replied. Edeled turned around.
Oh, and Sam, if I lash out at Kyle, I'm sorry.
Edeled stated. I was going to reply, but then I heard the doorbell ring. I opened the door and saw Kyle. Come in, I quietly said. Now, before I let Kyle into my room, I made him swear that he will not destroy the Wii. I made him pull his pockets inside out to make sure he did not have any items. Eventually, I let him into my room and made Kyle stand at the very back of my room. This was when I noticed that the environment of the Me channel turned dark.
Kyle, Nice to see you here.
Edeled stated in a serious tone. It's been a long time, Edeled, Kyle replied.
Kyle, what do you remember about me?
Well, I remember deleting you because I didn't want you in my me channel, Kyle explained. And I also remember you violently murdering my me, Kyle continued.
So you're saying I'm a murderer?
Maybe, Kyle replied.
Says yes.
Listen, Kyle, I may have murdered your me, but have you even thought that I did it because I had no other way of handling the situation?
No, Kyle responded.
Okay. Did you at least learn not to delete me's?
There was a pause. I looked at Kyle as he thought of a response. I eventually started to notice him inching towards me, possibly to grab the Wii remote out of my hands and delete him. Get back there! I yelled. Kyle went back against the wall. I understood, but I didn't learn, Kyle finally answered.
So I think it's Sam's story 6 now.
Wow, I thought to myself. Kyle understood what Edeled was teaching him, but didn't even care to learn. He just disgusts me now that I heard that. Edeled clearly has the same thoughts that I have, based on what he said next.
Oh, okay. So you understood, but you didn't even learn? Listen, Kyle. You may think I'm a murderer, okay, but do you really understand the pain that me's go through when they're deleted? And all this time, you still thought that deleting me's was an okay thing to do, and then you start talking about destroying the Wii, as if you want nothing more than for me to rot in hell. Is that what you want?
Edeled yelled even louder, and Kyle didn't respond. But Edeled didn't respond to Kyle's silence. Instead, the environment in the Me channel just got darker, and Edeled's pupils started to expand to the point where his eyes were just massive black dots. The screen then cut to static, and after a couple seconds, the static cleared up to reveal a small room. The room was very poorly lit, with a small, dangling light bulb hanging from the ceiling.
Oh, this is...
After about 30 seconds of silence between me and Kyle, I heard that unknown voice again.
Did I?
The voice said. I looked at Kyle. Do you know what that voice is? I asked. Kyle, being genuinely confused, said no. I have no idea. I've never heard that voice before. It's funny to figure out who I am.
Just right now.
The voice concluded. We heard mechanical sounding footsteps that seemed to get closer, and from the darkness came another me, but extremely disfigured.
Austin.
This thing was tall. It had the head of a me, and its eyes were also giant black dots. Its jaw was hanging from its head, and its teeth were so sharp to the point where it just looked like lines. The rest of its body was made of metal, as if it was a robot. Its hands were like claws, and its feet were also like claws. It had wires hanging all over its body, and there were sparks flying out of them and everything. So, it's called the corrupted me, huh? Well, I hoped it would just disappear so I wouldn't have to look at it anymore. Finally, the screen cut to static, and then the screen cut back to Edeled in the Me channel. The Me channel has been darker than it ever has been before, and Edeled, this time he looked scared. His pupils were back to normal, but he had an expression that signified worry. And then the corrupted me walked on screen. He snuck up behind Edeled and covered Edeled's mouth with its hands, and walked away with him, and the camera followed. The corrupted me exclaimed as Edeled was fighting for his life. He was kicking, he was trying to escape, but to no avail. I pointed the Wii remote at the screen in an attempt to help Adelaide, but wasn't able to interact with anything on screen. Finally, they managed to get to the delete icon. Adelaide then managed to free his mouth from the corrupted me's hands and yelled,
"Let me go, you son of a mama, scout!"
But then the corrupted me covered his mouth again.
You help
You know the pain you will experience
you've ever endured.
since you're getting my food.
600.
The corrupted me exclaimed. I was powerless, unable to do anything but watch as the corrupted me attempted to shove Adelaide into the delete icon. When he finally managed to do so, Adelaide was sent off to the hallway, and the corrupted me disappeared. I looked over at Kyle. He seemed as afraid as I was. He obviously never met the corrupted me before. The screen cut static. Sam, I don't know what to say, Kyle said. Before I could respond, though, I was interrupted by an extremely loud screaming sound. Kyle ran up to the Wii. I'm sorry, Sam, but I need to destroy this, Kyle yelled in a hurry. He unplugged the Wii and ran out of my room.
Oh no!
Hey! Get back here! I yelled. I took the Wii remote with me as I ran after Kyle. He was opening the door to my house and running to the road. I ran faster than I've ever ran in my entire life. But then I realized what Kyle was about to do. He was about to throw the Wii in the damn road, wasn't he? But luckily, as Kyle stopped and raised the Wii above his head to smash it on the ground, I caught up to him. I grabbed the Wii and attempted to pull it out of his hands. Kyle had a really firm grip on the Wii and attempted to pull it back. I then managed to actually pull the Wii out of his hands, but then I felt the Wii and noticed that it was extremely hot, even though it was unplugged.
It's hot because
I ran back into my house and slammed the door behind me.
No, why it's hot? It's because
But
of
I didn't notice Kyle
Austin.
running up to
He's
me
doing
and he
that
caught the door just before it
electrical
slammed
thing.
shut. He attempted to push the door open and did so.
Like the hottest thing ever.
I fell to the ground and Kyle tried to grab the Wii again. I had the Wii remote in my pocket and pulled it out. I then proceeded to smash the Wii remote into Kyle's face repeatedly. I guess he was focused on getting my Wii too much and he didn't notice the Wii remote. He then fell to the ground as I slapped him with the Wii remote several times in the face. Blood then started oozing out of his nose. That's when I stopped. I may have overdone it. As Kyle was wheezing from the pain, I ran back to my room. I shut the door behind me and plugged the Wii back in, and the picture on the screen returned. But what I saw horrified me. Elliot was strapped to a table, with a rubber mouthpiece in his mouth, and 2 electrodes on the sides of his head. I saw the corrupted me standing over Adelaide.
Austin is
Adelaide just looked at me but couldn't talk. The corrupted me then walked over to a device next to the table.
You'll see in the
There was a dial on it.
part 3.
And
there might
then
be
the
a part
corrupted
3.
me proceeded to crank that dial.
Finished this today.
Adelaide was then severely electrically shocked, repeatedly. Once the shocks were done, Adelaide tried to scream.
That power supply
muffled by his
cannot
rubber
hold
mouthpiece.
that much.
The corrupted me then looked at the camera.
I think it's gonna be very hot.
Wow. Can't tell channel anymore.
I want more.
Hey,
It's because
you made him forget
home. You
that. College. Now,
Kira,
yourself.
as the corrupted me went to turn the dial on the machine again, I yelled out, "Let him go!" I yelled. It was around this time that I heard the door open. I saw Kyle standing in the doorway, and he walked in. "Sam, I just don't want Adelaide to do any more harm," Kyle told me. "You mean you don't want the corrupted me to do any more harm?" I replied quietly as I looked back at the TV. Kyle looked at the TV also. We saw the corrupted me reach for the dial and cranked it.
I buy the same products you do, only I get them much cheaper. I save hundreds of dollars a month by doing this one simple trick that I'm about to show you. Don't spend another dime shopping online until you watch this first.
Watch this. I can show you how to get the sweetest deals online when you shop from major retailers like Amazon and Target. You can drop prices automatically. I can show you how, but I can't do it for you. People are saving real money doing this. $160 million in the last year. Across thousands of different retailers, you'll immediately see this. See what I mean? You'll see better prices you had no idea existed. And you don't even have to ask. They just show up automatically. Download this free tool that'll give you access to the deals. Just click, click. Done. That's it. Simple. It takes all of 10 seconds, and there's no need to enter any personal information. There's no technical mumbo jumbo. It's that easy. What are you waiting for? It takes less than 30 seconds.
Skip that ad. Skip that ad.
Me and Kyle just watched as Edeled kept on getting shocked by the corrupted
Wait, it's 6 now.
Still strapped to the table and not
Now
being able to
it's 6.
speak because of the mouthpiece in his mouth. The corrupted me then looked at us.
Well,
I guess to proceed.
Still making the video.
just one.
Yeah. I stopped
The
until
corrupted me
9.
this time cranked the dial to full, and Edeled was shocked badly. I just ran to the TV and turned it off when this happened. And Kyle and I were just speechless. Sam, I honestly don't know what to do anymore, Kyle said. I just don't want Edeled to do any more harm, that's all I want, Kyle continued. I looked up at Kyle. Seriously?
Yeah, I am.
You're still focused on destroying the Wii? Even after we saw Edeled get tortured like that? I yelled. What the hell is wrong with you? I yelled again. Kyle walked towards me. Shut up and let me tell you something, Kyle demanded. Edeled traumatized me. He really did. I remember every moment of each experience I had with him, and at no point in any of those memories was I calm, Kyle explained. I was frightened. 99% of all the experiences I've had with that thing, I was frightened. I was scared. What would happen if I deleted him again? Would he be calm and just tell me to stop, or go swinging with his axe? I think he would swing his axe all over the damn place, Kyle explained further. I stopped him. Well, it's your fault for deleting him in the first place, not his. You're causing him pain, and if anything, you're the one who's doing harm, I yelled. Kyle looked at the Wii, and then back at me. Kyle was silent.
What's gonna do?
He walked over to my bed and sat down on it. Sam, there is a term called unnecessary evil, Kyle told me. It is a term that defines someone who does something evil that must be done in order to achieve a better outcome in a situation, Kyle explained.
Better outcome?
In this case, I'm trying to destroy the Wii because it's not just a better outcome for me, it's a better outcome for Edeled. If that Wii is destroyed, his spirit will go to heaven, Kyle explained. I had a look of disgust on my face. Do you really think I'm that stupid? I yelled. I know what you're trying to do, Kyle. You're just trying to manipulate me in order to destroy the Wii. You don't care about Edeled's spirit. You just want him gone forever, I yelled again. You know what? Maybe you are a con artist, I announced.
I know what that means.
Kyle was silent. It felt like millions of times that Kyle was silent. He's just thinking of more useless excuses. I know it. I see it right through his deceptions. But I now know for a fact that Kyle is a degenerate, manipulative con artist. Get the hell out! I yelled. Kyle sprung up from my bed. No,
Oh no.
Kyle said quietly.
Oh no.
Kyle had his eyes on the Wii, but as soon as he bolted to get it, I shoved him to the ground, resulting with him slamming his head on the wall upon impact.
No, not 9. It's not 9 yet.
God! Dear God! Damn it! Kyle yelled out in pain.
Right, it's not 9 yet.
I walked up to Kyle
It
while he
is
laid on the ground,
8:54.
holding his head.
I joined you at
kicked him in the
9.
stomach.
Fine. Alright. Alright, we're gonna end it here. Bye. Oh, look at the time. 1 hour. Okay. Bye.